Inside a warm, vibrant home, Max's foster family gathers for a celebratory dinner. His foster parents Sylvia and Cooper and his foster brother Luke toast Luke's impending departure for college. Luke reassures Max, who appears a bit withdrawn, that their bond is thicker than blood and that he'll return for holidays. The brothers share an intimate moment, emphasizing their deep connection before Luke leaves. Some time later, Max is being disciplined by Cooper for repeat instances of property defacement, a manifestation of his unresolved grief. Facing jail time, Max is offered an alternative: 4 months of community service as the on-site superintendent at Green Meadows retirement home. Reluctant and resentful, Max accepts this unusual sentence. Max arrives at the seemingly placid Green Meadows, his headphones isolating him from the world. He's greeted by Juno, a nurse, and Les, a male staff member. They outline his duties and hand him a master key, sternly warning him against entering residential apartments without an emergency and critically to avoid the 4th floor, reserved for special care patients. Violations, they imply, will lead to severe repercussions. Max's assigned room is stark and in disrepair. He accidentally breaks a light fixture, revealing a curious glowing yellow residue on the wall when exposed to an ultraviolet light. He quickly conceals it, a nascent hint of the unsettling strangeness beneath the surface. On his rounds, Max inadvertently intrudes upon an elderly couple engaged in passionate intimacy, leaving him visibly discomforted by the unexpected display. That night, Max is plagued by a nightmarish vision, hearing Luke's voice and distant, distressing screams, hinting at his psychological turmoil. The next morning, news reports detail Hurricane Greta's upgraded status. Max is abruptly woken by Lou and Sadie, 2 energetic residents, who prank him with a fabricated emergency involving fecal matter. This playful welcome from the residents, including Norma, briefly lightens Max's mood. Max meets Dr. D.W. Sabian, the facility's physician. Sabian shares a personal anecdote about his father's isolated passing, seeking to build rapport. He then makes an unsettling observation about Max's beautiful, large eyes, followed by a fleeting distortion in his voice and an electrical buzz, a subtle but ominous disruption. Max drifts into a terrifying sleep. He dreams of Juno, the nurse, approaching his bed with a knife, murmuring menacingly, "It's touching time." He awakens with a start, deeply disturbed. Unable to sleep, Max encounters Norma, who is also awake. He mentions hearing screams, but she dismisses it. Norma shows Max fragments of deeply personal items, a sculpture from a deceased friend and a ripped painting from her late son, Jacob. She speaks of unresolved sorrows that keep her awake, a sentiment Max silently echoes regarding Luke. Max observes Lou leading an acting class for residents, emphasizing the importance of laughter and life to combat the boredom of old age, which he claims is a greater threat than illness. Later, Max's concerns resurface, as he distinctly hears disturbing groans and screams emanating from the restricted 4th floor. Max finds an elderly patient from the 4th floor, seemingly disoriented, watching a documentary. The patient becomes intensely agitated and physically aggressive, screaming at Max. Juno intervenes, berating Max for being on the 4th floor and implying foreknowledge of the encounter, instructing Max to leave the patient immediately. Dr. Sabian confronts Max about breaching the 4th floor. He issues a stern warning, reminding Max of his precarious position and the terms of his community service, emphasizing the need to adhere to the rules. Norma approaches Max, aware of his unauthorized visit to the 4th floor. She observes the patients there as lost, their eyes vacant. Using the intimate phrase, "a heart knows a heart," she cautions Max to disengage, insisting that some situations are beyond help. Max discusses his sleep disturbances with Lou, who attributes it to adjusted oxygen levels in the vents designed to induce profound sleep. Lou remarks he sleeps like death. Max witnesses a tense interaction between Ellie, Norma, and Les, suggesting a hidden dynamic. Les escorts Norma away, seemingly agitated by her behavior. Max seeks out Norma and, in an act of empathy, presents her with a drawing completing her son's ripped painting. Deeply touched, Norma reiterates, "A heart knows a heart," before frantically warning Max, "There's something very wrong with this place. You need to get out of." She is abruptly interrupted by an audible thud and the jingle of keys hastily departing. Max inquires about Norma with Les, who dismisses her urgent warning as a diabetic episode causing temporary mental confusion. Les informs Max that Norma is now resting in the infirmary. Alone in his room, Max is disturbed by strange noises and then hears a piercing scream. He rushes to Norma's room, finding it empty, while other residents are visibly distressed. Police arrive and Dr. Sabian produces a suicide note, claiming Norma took her own life to join her deceased son. Max is profoundly shaken. At Norma's memorial, Max speaks with a despondent Lou, who feels responsible for Norma's tragic demise. Max shares Norma's unsettling last words about something wrong with this place. Lou then experiences a disturbing episode, muttering incoherent phrases about gluttony and demons, and frantically attempts to remove his own teeth. Driven by Norma's warning, Max uses a blacklight in his room, revealing the glowing phrase "faceless fantasies" on the wall. He then discovers a hidden compartment containing a walkie-talkie. Max calls his foster parents, telling them he feels a responsibility to help the residents. They express concern over his worn appearance, but are pleased he has found purpose. Max uses the walkie-talkie and connects with an unknown voice, who claims to have planted the blacklight and monitored Max. The voice urgently warns Max that "they'll hurt me and they'll kill you too," revealing that Norma was eliminated for her knowledge. This mysterious contact hints at the residents being transformed into monsters. Max's desperate questions are cut short as the caller warns of suspicion and impending danger. Les catches Max investigating Norma's room, now cleared of her belongings. Les chillingly informs him that Norma's possessions, lacking family claimants, were incinerated in the basement. He warns Max to leave, implying a debt for his silence. Max, undeterred, descends to the basement and locates a hidden journal among discarded items. Max reads Norma's journal entries, which corroborate his suspicions. Max had an encounter on the 4th floor. He needs to know the danger. They come at night with their needles and their dogs, changing us too. Max confronts Lou with the diary, but Lou is in a profound state of self-punishment and delusion, pulling at his teeth and muttering about his demons. Max reconnects with the mysterious photographer via the walkie-talkie. The photographer reveals that Green Meadows is a government-funded facility, Almont, conducting controversial gene trials and experimental drug testing on the elderly, who are perfect test subjects because their cognitive decline and mortality are easily dismissed. The photographer confirms Norma was indeed killed for her awareness and urges Max to gather more evidence to expose them. Max witnesses Gretchen, Dr. Sabian's wife, being violently attacked by one of the mutated residents from the 4th floor. Max awakens in his old room at his foster home. Sylvia tells him he had a severe fall at Green Meadows, causing his vitals to fluctuate wildly. She dismisses his claims about the 4th floor patient as delirium. Sylvia then introduces Max to his foster sisters, Tessa and Jackie, and mentions she is contacting Judge Barrick again. Sylvia repeats Norma's phrase, "A heart knows a heart," but her inability to recall its origin reveals an unsettling cognitive decline, suggesting she too is affected. Max finds a childhood drawing from his mother, detailing memories of Luke. He shows the faceless fantasies drawing to his foster sisters, Tessa and Jackie, who immediately recognize it as something from the secret place. The girls lead Max to a concealed room filled with identical faceless fantasies drawings. Max uncovers old photographs, his foster sisters appearing much older than their supposed current ages, and another photo of Luke alongside Gretchen. A horrifying realization dawns. Max recognizes Luke, his supposedly deceased brother, as the photographer he's been communicating with, the man on the 4th floor. Max desperately contacts Luke via walkie-talkie. Luke, now aged and disfigured, confirms he is the photographer. He explains he never went to college but was brought to Green Meadows by their foster mother, Sylvia, forced into the D program and made to believe he was documenting the horrors. He shows Max the D chalice, revealing their family are all members of a vampiric cult. The entire family, Sylvia, Cooper, Dr. Sabian, Lou, and the other residents, gather for a chilling celebration. Lou gives a theatrical speech exposing their entire elaborate charade. Faceless Fantasies was a meticulously crafted story designed to fuck with Max for their amusement and to facilitate their nightly nourishment. Dr. Sabian elaborates on their ritualistic practice. They drain young individuals like Max of their essence, a nectar from a gland behind the eye gifted by Goddess D, to maintain their eternal youth. Sabian reveals that Sylvia and Cooper are 109 years old, while Lou is 128. He explains they have been secretly draining Max's honey every night, effectively sucking on Dee's teat. He promises Max will awaken feeling like a centenarian, joining Luke on the 4th floor. Max, horrified, unleashes a torrent of expletives, but his protests are met with ritualistic chanting of to D. Lou, with a disturbing grin, confirms Norma's warning was merely improvisation, a cruel twist added to their game. As they prepare to perform the draining, Max, in a desperate struggle, seizes Sabian's tool. A chaotic escape ensues. Max fights off Les and Juno, traversing the facility. He encounters his former foster sisters, Tessa and Jackie, now profoundly aged and disoriented, victims of the same horrifying process. Max reaches the facility's highest point, cornered by Lou, Sylvia, Cooper, Sabian, and Gretchen. Lou, in a moment of warped sentimentality, attempts to reason with Max as a friend. Sabian, without hesitation, shoots Lou. Max retaliates, pushing Sabian off the roof. Sylvia and Cooper, displaying unnerving strength, close in on Max. Max, in a brutal act of self-preservation, electrocutes Gretchen on a power box. He then turns the draining tool on Sylvia, extracting her essence, causing her to rapidly age. Cooper attacks Max, now a grotesque, withered figure. The battle spills outside amidst the raging hurricane. Max finds Luke, now aged and frail, asking about the chalice. Max battles Cooper, who has become a desiccated husk. Max ultimately uses the draining tool on Cooper, ending his horrifying existence. Luke, having completely succumbed to old age, passes away in Max's arms. Max holds the D-chalice. Max retreats to a hiding spot. He consumes the contents of the chalice. The hurricane gradually subsides. The storm passes. Max awakens, looking strikingly youthful and refreshed. He returns to the Green Meadows entrance, now appearing dilapidated and abandoned. He catches his reflection, seeing a renewed, vigorous version of himself, yet his eyes hold a chilling glint of the monstrous power he has acquired. The film closes with Max, reborn and seemingly ageless, walking away from the desolate facility, carrying the weight of his transformation. He has escaped death and decay, but at what profound cost to his humanity? In a world where youth is the ultimate currency, some are willing to pay any price to retain it, even if it means becoming the very monsters they once fought. The cycle of exploitation, it seems, has merely found a new, younger master. If this deep dive into the disturbing truths of eternal youth left you utterly captivated, hit that subscribe button and join us for more cinematic explorations that challenge your perceptions.